So last year, I made up my mind to go on a birth control, and I did it here in Lagos, Nigeria. In this vlog, I'm going to tell you about my experience using 2 different birth control methods and what I had to go through to get them. Don't go anywhere if you want to know more. Last year, I did a video on the different birth control methods that young people can get on. The link is right here on the video if you want to know more about that. In that video, I spoke about the different prices where you can even get it. But I never really spoke about my own experience going through this method of getting a birth control, because right now I'm using my second birth control. I had to take out the first one because of the side effects, which I'm going to get into in a few minutes, to get a new one, which has been fantastic for me, except with a bit of fear. Okay, let's talk about it. Last year I said no more Lolo, you have to take charge of your reproductive organ. You have to take charge of your sexual life. For someone that talks a lot about sexual health, I felt very hypocritical that I have never even gone on the birth control. Not because I'm saying it's compulsory, but because that time of my life, I had a partner. Did I? Yeah, well, I had a partner. Jesus, look at me, did I? I had a partner and we used to have unprotected sex, and it never occurred to me to get a birth control because tomorrow morning I could just go buy postinona. Nothing did I go buy morning after pill. And because he wasn't the kind of person that I saw every single day, it made it easy for me to just buy maybe twice a week. But again, I still knew that it wasn't healthy. I knew that I'm not meant to birth control. I'm sorry, morning after pills are not birth control. They're just for emergency purposes. Meaning maybe just out of the blue you had unprotected sex and you're just scared. So you go take it to make sure that nothing happens after that. It wasn't something that was meant to be a regular thing. And I knew that. It's not like I didn't know, and I think that's where I felt very hypocritical, because I came online advocating for women to go on birth control, for young girls to stop taking or abusing postinor, because when you take it for a long time, the side effects of that is really not good. It changes your vaginal discharge, it turns black, maybe dark brown. For women who have taken it for a long time, they know what I'm talking about, and it just messes your cycle, and it's just not good. And I knew that. But I had not just decided to go on a birth control, and I think one was because of the fear. When you grow up in Nigeria here, there's this shame around birth control, especially for people that are not married or have kids already. That shame leads to fear, and you're afraid, oh my God, what if I get the birth control? What if I'll never have kids again? Oh my God, what will I now do? They've sort of conditioned our mind to see it so negative that even the idea of even getting it would scare you to death, that you would not even get it at all. So I had to go through all of that. When you're abroad and you're talking about birth control, it seems like such a normal, regular conversation between young people. Like, I can talk about it freely, but the reality is that if you're here in Nigeria, it's a completely different ballgame. So you can know all the information, but in reality, going out there to get it is completely different. So I made up my mind, and I'm like, no more. I'm not meant to be having unprotected sex. That is a decision that I made, and since then, faithful. So it's not, I didn't get birth control because I wanted to be having unprotected sex. I got birth control because I wanted to know that I've taken charge of my sexual life. I wanted to know that I am being careful. I am being the kind of woman that I want my other young girls to be. I can't come out there and talk about how don't have a protected sex, use condoms, go on birth control, be sure that you're clean and all of that, while I'm doing the complete opposite. So I just made up my mind, and I'm like, no more. I'm going to take charge of my sexual life. I went there. I'm going to tell you guys where I got it. I got it at Ikorodu, at a local primary clinic. Crazy, such a far place. I used to work at an old age home, elderly home at Ikorodu as well, and it's a very rural area, by the way. It's not like a town where the local primary clinic is like a fancy, really like village kind of place. To be really, really honest. So I just saw this local primary clinic, and I'm like, let me just go check it out, because I know the first thing for me, I don't know about you, is if I want to do something and I'm a bit scared, the first way that I combat that fear is by making inquiries. Just let me just have it at the back of my mind that I know how much it is. Let me just think about it. And that's what I did. So I just stepped into the primary healthcare clinic and I'm like, oh, how much do you guys do birth control? They're like, yeah, we do. And I'm like, so how much is it? And they told me the different prices, which I spoke about in that video. Go check it out, talk about the different prices. And I went into the clinic and I'm like, oh wow, okay. Now I had at the back of my mind that this is how much it cost. So on that day, I had a bit of money on me and I just made up my mind there and then. I'm like, no, I'm not gonna wait any longer, because I'd done a bit of research, and I think this was what really helped me, was that I'd read, I knew my information, I knew the different birth control, I knew the one that I would like if I wanted to go on it. So I went into the clinic, even if I was a bit scared. I went in there assertive, I went in there confident, I was going in there to make inquiries, you know, and I heard the amount and I'm like, what? ATM please? Of course, the first thing they would ask you is, are you married? And you know, it's a bit unorthodox in this part of town to see a young girl going into the clinic and saying they want birth control. I know if you go to federal clinics, government hospitals, they might not attend to you. They usually tell young women or even married women to bring their husbands and whatnot, which is so unethical. I can't believe it, which is why I'm going to recommend a clinic or a hospital that I want you guys to go check out. But I went to a local primary clinic, and the nurse that attended to me asked me the basic questions, and because I knew that I really wanted to get my birth control, I was very confident, which made it very difficult for them to bully me and say, as a young girl, because I went in there well informed. I'm like, I want to do this, and when they make very sarcastic remarks concerning sister, don't you? And I'm like, prevention, is it not better than cure? You know, I made a video about how you can sort of turn things around, because people, when they try and shame you and you make them know that you're not even ashamed, then they stop. They're like, well, this want to be small picking, or you know, they have that idea. So that's what I did, and before we knew, I was actually friends with the nurse. We went in there, I got an implant. That's the first one I got. It's just put right here at the up of your in your arm, just beneath here where people don't see it. Very small incision actually, but taking it out was having mark here. I told my life to my mom that I fell out of a bus. I'm sorry, we're not that close yet. God forgive me. Okay, so we spoke, they did the measurement, they weighed me, then the woman told me the type of implant I was going to get. I think I got implant on. Oh, sorry, I'm going to just put that here. I can't remember the name. I got that, but it's the one that's 2 strands instead of just 1. It was going to allow me not get pregnant for 3 to 5 years. That was the duration of that birth control. But once I got the birth control, it was very painless. There's no pain. They give you an injection to numb the part that they're going to give you put the implant in. So it was really not painful at all. I was just scared, but it wasn't painful. Then they told me that it might just trigger my period. So I was like, okay. So when my period started, I was like, that's fine. But after 2 weeks, 3 weeks, I'm like, what's going on? You know, it really messed my menstrual cycle, in the sense that in a month I might just be free for a week. The other days I'm spotting, which is really annoying. If you're a woman, you know how irritating that is. Plus, I mean, in retrospect, I did not get pregnant, because if you're always on your period, there's no way you're gonna get pregnant. But yeah, but the thing really messed up my cycle, and I did not have the money. If I'm going to be really honest with you, I didn't have the money to keep buying pads, and that was the one thing that just made me stop. I was like, no more. I went back to the clinic though before I even took it out. I went to make inquiries on why it seems like my period is just not stopping, and I met another nurse there, and this nurse was quite judgmental. As expected, I'm used to those kind of things, and she's like, the young girl began to preach, and I'm like, madam, I already have the thing, what's gonna happen? Let's talk about this. You know, I did not leave the clinic, and before I knew, we became friends, which is interesting. You know, then she began to tell me that no, it's not like she's telling me not to use birth control, but this implant, it seems like it's still on a trial run in Nigeria, which is something I have to put out there. Even my gynecologist that I met, I think 2-3 weeks ago, when I told him I took out my implant, he's like, yeah, very good, that he doesn't recommend it. So this nurse told me that this implant is still in the trial phase here in Nigeria. I'm not sure how valid that is, because I haven't read anything about that anywhere, but she's a nurse and that's what she said. So if you know more about that, please just drop it in the comments so I know, because I haven't read it anywhere. But she said that the implant is in the trial period, that I should not use it, that the one she recommends for women who are on the big side, because I'm quite big, on the big side, is that your IUD, because it doesn't mess up your hormones, not the injection, not the pill and all that stuff that I linked up there. If you have watched it, you know what I'm talking about. So but yeah, I and the woman became friends, and she told me about the implications, or sorry, the side effects of the implants, which is exactly what I was going through. So I had to make a date to come back to the hospital, to the clinic. When I went back to the clinic, the woman I met wasn't that judgmental nurse. It was the first woman that did my implant. So I went there, I told her about what's happening, and she's like, you have to get a new one. I'm like, yeah, I will get another type. And I decided to get an IUD. And look, let me tell you something. The IUD is the one that, you know, goes inside. So they took out the implant and they gave me the IUD. It is the best decision that I have made so far. Apart from the fear, let me tell you, the biggest thing about the IUD is the fear. Open your legs. And I'm like, open your leg. Okay, I'm really afraid of those search down there, even with my gynecologist, just anything that has to involve you looking down there, tell me to open my legs and putting things inside to do whatever operation it is. It makes me really uncomfortable, and I know it's because of my past sexual experiences of assault and all that. So if my brain is not calm, if my brain doesn't recognize the fact that I'm safe where I am and the person that is doing that is also safe and all that, I get really stiff and I'm a bit scared. But when I went there for the IUD, you know, it was really easy as well. Apart from my fear, it was quite easy. She just told me to open my legs, and they brought the spatula also. I'm going to put the name of the thing there, I can't remember, but they put it in. But the thing is that because the primary health clinic, they don't have a lot of resources, which means the one they use, I think it's those olden days, it was metal. It was metal, and it just really freaked me out because my gynecologist uses one that's a bit plastic and they just dispose of it. Anyway, yeah, we did that. It just has a sharp pain, which is like 2 seconds when they put it in, they put the stuff in, 2 seconds, and I was done. And the woman told me that I should put the chuka, what is that thing, make sure that the rope from the IUD isn't coming out. So if I feel it, I should just put it back in. So I was a bit scared, but right there in the clinic, I just put my hand and I put the rope back in. And I think 7 months after, I am very happy with the result. It doesn't mean I'm even having unprotected sex. Like I told you guys, I made a decision no more. So all of that is not something that I did because I want to start having sex without condoms. It was something that I just wanted to do to take charge of my sexual health. Since then it's been relatively good. When I had the IUD, I will say this though, that my period pains were so intense, but now it has simmered down. It just, my body has adjusted to the IUD that I use, because mine isn't a hormonal IUD, it's a copper IUD, which means it doesn't affect my hormones at all. If I take out the IUD right now, I can get pregnant like in the next 2 days or more, or even immediately. So that was really good for me because I didn't want anything that messed up my hormones. I don't like that. But other than the menstrual pain, which if you get this IUD, just go and stock up on like strong menstrual pain pills. I'm not gonna lie to you, it hurts so badly. But other than that, my body adjusted. I feel really good. It's really amazing. If you use an IUD, you might not want to be promiscuous because you're more susceptible to infections because there's already a foreign object in you. So you don't use dirty toilet. You make sure you clean your toilet. You don't pee anywhere. You have one partner, and even if you're having multiple partners, you must ensure that you use a condom. And that's one of the reasons why they're really worried for young people to go on IUD, because there's this perception that young people are promiscuous, and that's actually something my gynecologist told me as well. Young people are promiscuous, so people are a bit scared should they get the IUD. But if you do decide to have the IUD, honey, it is amazing. I feel really good. I went back for checkup. I feel bad that I went to a private clinic like a few months after, and I'm like, you guys are a bit scared, can you just check it to make sure everything's okay? And the woman was like, it's fine. Those guys at the clinic are really good at what they do. So I think I sort of stereotyped them and thought that they were inferior, but they're really good. So if you want to get a birth control, you can get it at a local primary healthcare clinic. You can get it at a private clinic as well. It's going to be more expensive at the private clinic, but other than that, I feel really good. It's been really fantastic. People would ask me the biggest question, how does it feel when you have sex? I'm going to tell you it's okay. You need to just learn how your body works. Sometimes if you feel a sharp pain, you change the position and be very vocal with your partner. You don't need to let everybody know you have an IUD. It's no one's business but yours. But you need to ensure that you're not in positions that sort of make it shift, because sometimes it can move. If you guys are doing the gymnastics in the world, okay. But other than that, perfect, fantastic for me. I plan on taking it out December, the one I have, and getting a new one because I just want to track my records, because I did it in such a haste. I just made a decision, I had to do it. I feel like I did not take enough time to sort of plan it, to have the name of the IUD I have, my gynecologist, to go for checkup and all of that. So I really want to start. I've already started doing that, but December, since my gynecologist told me this okay down there, hello, December I'm going to take it out and start a new one. But other than that, I really recommend it. I think it is fantastic. I think it's really good, and it's nothing to be afraid of. So that's basically my experience with it. If you have an implant, I want to know your experience. Maybe you have a fantastic experience with it. I want to know from you. I know someone that has an IUD, had actually, and it was so horrible. She said she had such heavy flow. It's like the thing just came out with it, and she pulled it out. She was just in so much pain. That pain I told you about. But I don't know, everyone differs. Our body is quite different. So I want to know your own experience, and if you are trying or thinking of getting one, tell me the one you would like to get. And if you're afraid, tell me why you're scared. And like I said, you can get it at a local primary health clinic or a private hospital, one for mother and child. There's a good hospital I recommend. This is not a sponsored video. The name of the hospital is called Outreach Women and Children. I think they have a branch on the island, Okota here, and Festac as well. They're really good. I went to the one here at Okota, and fantastic. Everyone's just really nice, so I would recommend that place for you. But other than that, the most important thing whilst going in is to be confident, to be assertive, so that these people cannot mess with you, because they know and they prey on vulnerable women that are weak. So when they tell you something and you're like, oh my god, I'm a bit scared, they'll be like, hey, then you're scared, you won't go do that bad thing. But when you tell them, like, this is what I want, I'm paying, you don't have the right to tell me I shouldn't. You know, that you let them know that you know what you're talking about, and I feel like they would respect you and attend to you properly. Well, that's all I have for this week's vlog. I hope you enjoyed it. Please do not forget to subscribe to my YouTube channel, like this video if you did enjoy it, and share it. That would really mean a lot to me. Thank you guys so much. I'm going to see you next week. My name is still Lolo Cynthia. Peace.